This is the Real Love Talk podcast, where we show you how God's love and self-love can help you get to your desired destination. If a God-designed marriage is your goal, then you're in the right place. Here's your host, Shenique Luke.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Real Love Talk podcast. I am your host, Shenique Luke, and welcome to this week's episode. Now, this season, we are going to be focusing on situationships, okay? That is officially my area of expertise, okay? Not only was I the queen of situationships in my personal life, but now I'm the queen of situationships in my professional life, okay? So I'm here to help you get out of those dead-end situationships into the relationship that you have been praying for, the committed lifelong marriage, right? So, as I began to really dissect, why do we get into situationships? What is the biggest issue that we struggle with when we're finding ourselves in these long-term relationships with no real commitment? What was the game changer that my aha moment when I really began to see the shift from situationship to committed relationship? I have to say it's boundaries. Boundaries is going to be the key thing that you have to master in order to ultimately get what you want. Do you want to be married? Have you been with this guy for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years and you still are not committed? You lack boundaries, sis. And it's okay. I'm not judging. I'm not here to beat you over the head, but what I am here for is to help you shift and begin to identify how can we begin to get the results that we want. So, today we're going to talk about a few ways to really establish healthy boundaries. I mean, I'll be honest, it was really hard for me because I just used to show up. I thought that, man, okay, I got him. I got him. He likes me. I like him. We're going to do this thing. But then when 6 months turned into 4 years, I had to really take a look at myself and say, what am I doing wrong? And when I began to look at the patterns of my relationships, I was the common denominator. So, like I said, I'm not here to beat up on you because I beat up on myself enough for all of us, okay? But what I am here for is so that you become more self-aware, so that you're able to identify what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, right? So, the number one question that I always ask when I'm meeting with my clients, when I'm having random conversations with my girlfriends, with their friends, and with any other woman that I find myself in a relationship conversation with is, what do you want? So if you have found yourself stuck in this long-term committed relationship with no commitment, what do you truly want? Do you want to be married? Do you just want a committed relationship where you have the title of girlfriend and boyfriend? I do not support this, but I'm not going to sit here and act like it doesn't exist. Do you want an open relationship? Do you want, I don't know. I'm not going to go to any more extents than that, but you get where I'm going with this. What do you want? Do you want to be married? Because if you want to be married, lacking commitment in your current relationship is not going to get you down the aisle. Okay? It's not going to get you to that lifelong godly marriage. Not only that God is preparing for you, but that you deserve, right? You have to set goals for your relationship. So every single day when you interact with that guy, when you go on dates on the weekend, are your actions in that relationship and how you interact with one another lining up with that ultimate goal of marriage? You have to be the one to really decide. Now, I do consider myself a coach. I consider myself an expert when it comes to these things, but that is not something that I'm going to be able to tell you. before you click on the link, before you come into my office, before we meet for coffee or have an online consultation. You have to determine what you want so that you can then tell me how to help you. Because the biggest thing that I find is that we find ourselves in these relationships, these situationships, these all types of scenarios with these guys. And it's just like we've just fallen into what they want. Now, I'm not even shading guys, okay? Because that's the best thing that they do. They are very clear about what they want. But somehow we fall into this gray area just because we love them, we think he's cute, or because he just fits into the you know how when you look at a magazine there's like a little grayed out area, it's in the shape of a guy. Like, has this guy just kind of fit into the plan, but he lacks the characteristics of what a husband really looks like? And sometimes you may be in that gray mold as well. Have you guys just fallen into what a couple looks like? You really have to get specific on your relationship goals so that you can make sure that every single time you guys are interacting with one another, that ultimately they line up. Okay? So I want you to become so self aware about what you want that it makes other people uncomfortable. Okay? When you show up, they're like, that girl knows what she wants and she's not wavering on it. So, taking a disc assessment so that you're able to identify your personality trait will help you to really determine how you're showing up. Okay? That is a service that I offer, and I would love to help assist you in getting more clear on what your dating characteristics are. Become so self aware that when a guy who is cute, has a good job, nice car, whatever, shows up, if he doesn't align with what you desire in a husband, be willing to walk away. Like, that's how assured I need you to be. Okay? Hi, ladies. Shenique Luke here, your love preparation coach. So you asked, and now I'm answering. The Love Prep Academy is opening its doors for enrollment for our signature program. Are you ready for your happily ever after? Are you ready to have the life that you've been praying for? Are you sick and tired of wondering, when is it going to be my turn? Well, this program is for you. I'm here to send a call of action to my ladies who are tired of doing it their way and are truly ready to give it to God. So I'm challenging 25 women to become a part of our founding members program. This program consists of weekly coaching from yours truly, a dating assessment, a private Facebook community, and weekly challenges and homework to help you shift how you see dating and marriage to finally get the results you want. Now, the best thing about being a founding member, not only do you get to be a part of a life-changing program, but you get all access to all things Love Prep Academy from now until forever. That's right, we're locked in for life. So click the link below to find out more. I will see you on the other side. The next thing I want you to consider is, what can you deal with? See, one of the things that I feel like gets us in a gray area or like muddy is that we're determining what we want out of our relationships based on someone else, whether it be a family member or a friend, right? So as women, we may do this a lot because we get into groups with our girlfriends and we have girl talk. And sometimes we begin to have the expectations of what our friends have. Or we see their results and we say, okay, well, if she did that, then I'm going to do it too. And the best thing about becoming self-aware is that you begin to create the things that you desire, no one else. I'll tell you this, developing a personality as a couple has been kind of the best and one of the challenging things about being married, because you begin to learn what works for your relationship versus everyone else's. Now, a lot of times that may go against the grain when it comes to what your family members expect or even your friends. But I want you to determine what works for you. I've had conversations with women and they blatantly say, "I don't like talking on the phone. I prefer a text message conversation." Now, someone else may prefer to talk on the phone or be in person or whatever your preference is. My point is, you have to get crystal clear about your preferences and what you can accept in a relationship. For me personally, a long distance relationship would have never worked, right? But for someone else, that may have been the best thing that happened to them. Um, are you open to the man that you're dating seeing other people until you're committed? Are you someone who doesn't want to have children? You do not want to get into a position where you're allowing someone who does want kids to impact your decision making, right? So you don't want to become so desperate that you compromise your desires just to have a relationship. It's not going to work out in the long run, or even if it's just a friend. So society and our norms, sometimes it does have impact on what we do. But I want you to get so crystal clear about what you desire that none of that has any impact on one, who you are, and two, what you want. So begin to get clear and don't worry about what anyone thinks about it. Because when it's you and your husband and y'all are in the house and the kids are asleep and your in-laws have gone home and everyone's gone, it's just going to be you and him. And you have to be 100% confident in the decisions that you guys make for your goals as a couple, right? It's going to outweigh so much. So before you become teammates with an outsider, your husband, become your best teammate. The next thing I want you to do is to set clear expectations with yourself and with the person that you're dealing with. The biggest mistake that we make, and it hurts us and gets us into situationships, is going with the flow. And I get it. He said, I just want somebody that can go with the flow. I get it. You don't want to rock the boat and you don't want to be pushy, but you have to fight for yourself. You have to fight for your goals the same way that you showed up in that job interview, the same way that you negotiated your salary, the same way that you fight for your rights to vote and everything else. I want you to stand up for yourself in your relationship as well. It's important to be able to be the voice for yourself because you can't be the only one that's not getting what you want. So, set the expectations. You've already determined what you want. You've already set the tone on what you will and will not accept in the relationship. Now it's time to communicate those things to the person that you're dating and set the expectations. Now, I was about to trickle into the last step, but I'm going to hold off on that because you may not be ready for that one yet. But the point of becoming extremely self aware is to rid yourself of other people's opinions. I get it. It feels good to please people. It feels good to be accepted by people, but I want you to become so much of an individual that it makes other people uncomfortable. Because either you're going to internalize the discomfort or someone else will deal with it. So let them deal with it. And if he walks out of your life, that is okay too. You're only making room for the right person. And the fact of the matter is, as long as he's in the way, that guy will never show up. So I want you to really get comfortable with being uncomfortable because you have to fight for yourself in order to get what you want. And if you found yourself stuck in a situationship, and especially if it's been for years, you have not been fighting for yourself. Trust me, I know, and I've been there. So this leads me to the last point. Be okay with the discomfort of someone walking away. If someone makes the decision to step out of your life and walk away, it is okay. I understand that you desire love. I understand that you desire a long-term committed relationship. And ultimately, you want someone there. But you do not want just anyone there. You want someone who is willing to fight for you, who loves you, and ultimately who chooses you. One of the things that helped me to become less controlling in my relationship, because before dealing with infidelity and dealing with other women, I always wanted to control what he did so that there wouldn't be another woman in the relationship, right? But one of the things that began to shift my thinking was that I began to want him in a room full of women. And I know that sounds crazy, but you want him to walk into a room full of women and still choose you. What we've been doing is taking all of the women out of the room and leaving us. And then you're like, well, he has no choice but to choose me. But what you want him to do is to go out, have fun, like whatever guys do when they do guy things. And at the end of the night, you want him to desire you the most or be excited about seeing you the next day. So understand that if he makes the decision to walk away from you, it is okay. And honestly, I know this is going to be hard to hear, but you want him, if you love him, okay, this is another mind trick I did. But ultimately, if you love him, you want him to be with someone that he wants to be with. If you are taking all of the women out of the room and you're being controlling and you're manipulating situations in order to just get him to choose you, that is not how you want to start the foundation of your marriage. Letting him walk away is the best thing that you can do. One, it makes room for the person. And if he is the person, it will allow him to see what life is like without you. See, the thing that we mess up on as women is we give them all our benefits before they even have a right to it. And then we wonder why he straddles the fence. I mean, the old saying is, why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? And I'm not even just referring to sex. I'm talking about the benefit of the peace that you bring, the benefit of the laughter that you bring, whatever resources you have, just being in your space. Okay. We take for granted all of those things that we bring to our relationships, romantic and platonic, because we always just dumb it down to sex. You are so much more than just sex. So I want you to understand that him just being able to text you and you respond is a benefit. For you just being kind to him when he loses his mother, I'm sorry, yes, that is extreme. That is a benefit of you because no one else pats his back and comforts him and supports him and gives him words of encouragement the way that you do. So have confidence in what you bring to the table and stop just summing yourself up to sex. You are way more than that. So if that man is okay with you no longer being in his life, then he should let him go. Find comfort in the discomfort. I promise you that it will be the best thing that has ever happened to you. So it is okay if he walks out of your life. And if he does, what does the young people say? Spin the block. If he decides to spin the block and you're still available because you know what I mean, because the men are lined up out the door, then maybe you guys can have a conversation. But I guarantee that when you take the time to really invest in getting to know who you are, getting to go against the norm and decide what you want out of your friendships. You're seeking God and you're taking the time to love on yourself, be gentle with yourself, be gracious with yourself. You will no longer just let anyone just show up just because he's a man, just because he's handsome. There will be more of a requirement in order to be in your life. And of course, we know that goes both ways. So I'm not even coming from a perspective or a point to where I expect you to just take. It has to be a mutual, beneficial relationship, committed on both ends. So this will allow you to no longer live in the gray area. This will allow you to really determine how to set the appropriate boundaries in your life so that you no longer just accept anything that someone brings to the table because you're afraid of being alone. You understand your value, you understand your voice, and you understand that you're not asking for too much. And the best thing about it is men know. Men know when we're valuable. It's us that when we don't see how valuable we are, we cheat ourselves. They know. And so I'm asking you to just be a little bit confident in what you bring to the table. Outside of sex, outside of your looks, outside of your job, outside of your finances. You are valuable, you are worthy, you are beautiful. Even just experiencing your support and your laughter is a blessing. So I encourage you, do the work. Do the necessary work to get to know yourself. Do the necessary work to determine what you want out of your relationships. What do you want? Sit with yourself and really make the decisions so that when someone comes into your life, you are able to confidently and boldly state your desires. And if they walk away, tell them, see you later. You deserve that. You deserve more. You deserve what you're praying for. And it's time for you to get to your desired destination. So I hope this was beneficial for you. I hope that you'll be able to really just take a look in. And I call it dissecting, like digging deep. It may hurt. It may be uncomfortable. You may even see things that you don't like about yourself. But before someone else comes into the picture, this is your opportunity to really take a look at yourself. Hold up the mirror. Be honest. What have your past relationships been like? What are the bad habits that you typically do? What are your strengths? How are you shown? What happens when you show up as your best self? What are those characteristics? So it's really important to have a conversation with yourself and be honest. There's a I don't know. I've heard it on several resources where you go to your closest, your 4 or 5 closest family members or friends, and you ask them, what do you think my best traits are? What do you think my worst traits are? Because they know you the best. And just be open to the tough conversations. You see, the thing is that we're trying to avoid the discomfort. We're trying to avoid the tough conversations. We're trying to avoid the hard things. But we're never going to be able to really get to the next level in our love lives, in our relationships, and I mean, any relationship, in our careers, until we're able to really have tough conversations and address our shortcomings. And the beautiful thing about it, it's okay. It's okay if you have these things that need to be addressed and you're willing to address it. But what's not okay is to just let them have their way in your life and wreak havoc. So I encourage you, hold up the mirror and have that tough conversation with yourself before you have to have it with someone else. And it may not be the best outcome. So thank you for joining me on this episode. And I'm telling you this from my personal experience. And I am still having, did you watch the first episode from this season? I had to have a really ugly conversation with myself. It's not the first one, and I'm sure it won't be the last one. But I'm looking forward to reaping the benefits of those conversations, tweaking and adjusting and shifting, and then ultimately getting the results that I'm praying for. So we're all going through this journey together. That's what I'm here for. That's why I'm at this table. That's why I show up every single week, because it's bigger than me. And ultimately, I want you to have what you're praying for. And I look forward to the feedback. So I appreciate you for showing up again with me this week. Remember to like, subscribe, and share and comment. I appreciate and I need your feedback so I can just be better as a coach and as a podcast host. So I look forward to your feedback. Of course, if you need coaching or if you need to take the DISC assessment so that you can become self-aware, the link is below. I am here to support you, and I am here to get you to your desired destination. So I'll see you guys next week. Talk to you soon. Hi ladies, Shenique Luke here, your love preparation coach. So you asked, and now I'm answering. The Love Prep Academy is opening its doors for enrollment for our signature program. Are you ready for your happily ever after? Are you ready to have the life that you've been praying for? Are you sick and tired of wondering, when is it going to be my turn? Well, this program is for you. I'm here to send a call of action to my ladies who are tired of doing it their way and are truly ready to give it to God. So I'm challenging 25 women to become a part of our founding members program. This program consists of weekly coaching from yours truly, a dating assessment, a private Facebook community, and weekly challenges and homework to help you shift how you see dating and marriage to finally get the results you want. Now, the best thing about being a founding member, not only do you get to be a part of a life-changing program, but you get all access to all things Love Prep Academy from now until forever. That's right, we're locked in for life. So click the link below to find out more. I will see you on the other side.